have Zicky Dice with me. Outlandish Paradise was January 15th. Now we have a lot more positive things to talk about coming out of the event. It was very successful. You've already teased the second event, so that's really cool. How did you measure success going into the event and now looking in hindsight? Like, what did you find was the biggest success besides people tuning in and supporting the show?
There was a lot of work that went into this. This was my absolute baby. Twitch had brought me on it's been almost 2 years. I think May will be 2 years that I've been with Twitch. And Twitch has opened up a lot of doors for me and my brand. And when they were coming to me and pitching, hey, would you want to be on this game show? Or, hey, or you want to do this simulcast with us? Or, hey, do you want to do this front page stream? At the end of all those meetings, I would always be like, hey, can I get a minute? And I want to run something by you. And they said, yeah, that's a really cool idea. Or I didn't really go into depth, and I just felt like it fell on deaf ears. And then in August, I got the yes, like, hey, we'll do a wrestling show with you. And there's been wrestling on Twitch before, right? But there's never been wrestling made for Twitch. And that's what I wanted. I see the future of the platform, and I see the future of professional wrestling and where we're headed. And people want to get involved. And I want to give them somewhere to make it a little interactive, give them some interactions, a little bit of control, and still providing them with some hot wrestling. And Twitch had asked me, like, what does failure look like to you? And I said, well, like, no one showing up to the show, the stream being choppy, the stream cutting out. And they're like, well, we're not worried about that, so I don't think you have anything to worry about. But at the same time, I'm putting my whole brand on the line. It was hard for me to focus that night on anything, because I did just about everything for that show that you can possibly think of. It went through me. And I did it pretty much by myself for the most part. Shout out to Jarrett over at Twitch. Jarrett put in just as many hours, if not more, than I did to make this happen. And we took some time off to reevaluate. And just now, I think we're over 500,000 views on the show. The only negative feedback I saw were critiques that I had myself, right? We worked with a company who had never shot professional wrestling before. And, I tried to explain to him, hey, this is a lot different than, yeah, you've done NFL. Yeah, you've done esports. Yeah, you've done this, but it's not like any of those things before. So most of the negative feedback I saw were just things like that, like, hey, like, fix the camera angles or lighting. And these are all issues that we knew we had, but we were limited with the first one. And I want to do it close to home so that I can, run to the venue or check on internet things. There's a lot of things that went into this, and especially throwing my first event and doing it live, for the world to see. It's a lot of pressure, man. And I got to say, it still riding the high from the show. Will we do another one? The plan was that was going to be a pilot. And if all went well, the plan was that we want these popping up around the country. We got TwitchCon coming up. I would love to introduce this new generation of potential wrestling fans to professional wrestling and doing it my way. I've got a very creative mind, and it's a damn shame that people don't take advantage of that sometimes. So if no one's going to, lead the way, I'm just going to have to find my own.
Yeah. And I would agree. Like, most of the criticism was, it was fair. It wasn't anything beside maybe something that you couldn't really fix while you're doing the show live. So, it's fair, but something that you can learn from. And as you said, like, you're sitting over 500,000 views, which,
and we gave away the show for free, man.
It's a free show, and you can still watch it. Like, if you haven't tuned in yet, it's still on your page.
And I think that's what makes it the Outlandish Paradise. Like, you get like Thunder Rosa versus Taya Valkyrie, or Effie versus Dalton Castle, or like even Zicky versus Evil Uno. Like, I give this to you all for free. I just wanted you to tune in and interact with us. And I think that's, that's what makes it special. I think, it's just one of the many things, where like having the little interactions that we had. And I'm looking for new ways to keep this creative and keep it fresh. And, this was still done very DIY, believe it or not. And I've got a newfound respect for promoters. I couldn't imagine doing this weekly or monthly, or there's a lot of work that goes into it. And it's hard to focus, on, oh shit, I still got to wrestle at the end of the evening.
Mhm.
But that's how fast my creative brain works. And I will say this, like now that it's over, I sit and I'm like, what's next? I don't feel satisfied. My creative juices, like I said, I've had a lot to offer, and there's a lot of people who have slept and passed that up, and still don't realize. And I find joy in doing this, and pushing the limits, especially on Twitch. And who knows, like what the future holds for this. I know it's getting fairly it's growing, and it's starting to get to the point where it's almost out of my control, which is a good thing, right? Like that's what I wanted. Like once the show happened, and it was hard to book talent for the show. Like people like, wait, what are you doing? Wait, what is this? Is this like Saturday Night Live? That was like a quote that I got. I'm like, no, like I have visions for this, right? And I don't want to spill those all out here, but what this can potentially be in the future. But now that it's happened, it's like, hey, dude, when's the next one? Or like a lot of people that you and I both know, names were in the DMs the next morning, like, hey, dude, I want on the next one. Like that was incredible. Like who doesn't want to wrestle in front of 500,000 people, and who doesn't want to, and I'm not, like I said, I'm trying to do something special here. And I think that's the vibe. And I think the first one, it was a team effort, from the opening match all the way to the end of the night, and even the people behind the scenes. And I take my fanny pack off to them, and I'm very grateful. Right. But I think the best part about it, most rewarding thing is like, dude, like I took a risk on myself and it worked. So if anyone gets anything to take from that, I've been told no just about my whole career in different spots. And I've learned from that, and I've used that as fuel for the fire. And now I think I've created the new platform for professional wrestling.
I think it needs to be said that I think people not believe in the brand, but they kind of understand like what you're trying to do more than maybe in the past. Like there's been promotions or one-off shows where it's like, oh, we're rock and roll and we're wrestling, but with Zicky Dice and with Outlandish Paradise, it doesn't really need to be explained. It's kind of you know what you're getting up front, and then it's, oh yeah, look at all these kick-ass matches like you mentioned with Thunder Rosa and Taya Valkyrie and the Hey Brother Battle Royal. Like you don't know what it's going to be. It's just kind of like this fun thing that played out on social media and then ended up being an entertaining aspect of a show. So do you feel like you're talking about like risks paying off? Do you feel like it was any easier because you had the past couple of years to establish your brand, or was it still very much?
Oh man, I still feel like I'm not where I'm at, where I want to be by any means. And I still feel that I'm overlooked in certain things. And I still feel that deep down that Outlandish Zicky Dice is bigger than professional wrestling. And I go ahead, let everyone stay comfortable with the ceiling of professional wrestling, working their indie shows here, getting their little bit of TV time there. That doesn't satisfy me. I want more, and I'm capable of more. And I am living proof that if you just go and do, right? Because a lot of my ideas, they're not good ones, but how do I know that until I actually execute, right? And oh, that didn't work. What can we learn, and what can we change here? What can we try differently this time? Or just feeling out the vibe of the room. Easier, no. But thankful that I've had some opportunities to build the brand up, right? And I felt like someone at Twitch told me like, dude, not yet. And then we finally got the okay, we'll do this, right? And I feel like there's a quote that I've gotten from a promoter. Like, if you would have told me 4 years ago that I'd be flying out Zicky Dice, like I would have told you to fly a kite. Like, that's the stuff I want to hear, right? Because I'm going, it's like, oh, didn't work now, but now we're getting the phone calls. Now we're getting like, oh shoot, how can I be involved? Like now, and I take that feels good. That feels good. That's and that's I haven't given up. If I would have gave up by my first critique, I would have been done a long time ago. It's just. I'm curious to see what the future holds. I'm excited. There's a lot going on that I wish that we could talk about right here, right now. And I'm sure we'll have to link up here soon, but there's some exciting stuff in the works. And Yeah, man. It's great just to do something, right? And I think the best part about all this is like I sang in a band before, released some records. I've got matches out there, and it's just part of history. And one day I'm not going to be around on this planet anymore, but this stuff that we're doing right here, right now, will be forever.
I think this kind of leads into my next question, but you get to do your own thing. You're told no, you have to figure out almost, put yourself out there and be okay with failing and seeing if stuff succeeds. But, it's a different element seeing what you're doing in Impact right now, because you're under the learning tree, figuratively, literally. But, what can you say you learned about working in that environment? Because it's very much somebody else's idea. You either get to put your spin on it or see how you can collaborate in that way. So, how is that different from what fans are used to just seeing Zicky from, whether it's NWA or on the indies, or just, that brand, and trying to, incorporate it into something else?
Well, I'm still new, right? So I'm still finding my footing at Impact. I feel that Zicky has yet to spread his wings and show the world what Zicky Dice is actually capable of. But saying that, I enjoy my job. I remember texting my wife, and I'm going to be at Impact for a little while, so get comfortable. And I said, watching the show sell out and seeing the crowds and the reaction. And I'll be honest, I didn't watch much of Impact before showing up and watching the show. I feel like it's a pretty damn good show that we're putting together. And the goal is, right, everyone wants to have a job, and there's very limited job slots open right now, and I think that's pretty clear. So I'm thankful to have my job, but like you said, like I got to do what I'm told, right? It's part of the vision, and finding my way in that. I love Brian, I love VSK, and I think we've been having some fun together lately. But I'm curious to see what the future holds and how far we can push this envelope. And I hope that the things I'm doing on the side can be proof of that, and we can get a little bit more opportunity. And I think there's times where like they see me a different way than I see myself, right? And how do we find a happy medium there? How do we get comfortable? And I think that comes with time, and I think that comes with my work and my reputation and my brand, and just got to keep showing up. But I've been having fun nonetheless. It's a good place to be, and it's a spot for a lot of opportunity. So
yeah, I mean, I've said it for months, if not the past couple of years. Impact, I would say, consistently week to week has one of the best shows on TV. They do comedy better than most, if not having the best understanding of how to use wrestling and comedy together. So I think when, obviously word gets out, like tapings, like, oh yeah, like Zicky's coming in or so-and-so's coming in, you're like, oh, I wonder what this is like. And then it's like, you put your reservations aside, and once you actually see what's going on, you're like, yeah, this worked. Like it just works somehow. Like when they first introduced the group, and then, they did the handicap match, was it last 2 weeks ago?
Yeah. The 9-on-1.
Yeah. And it's like, it just works for some reason. And you talk about getting opportunities in the future, and, we'll wait and see what happens. But right now it's just, it's an engaging part of the show. So
I hear you. And I'm having fun. Right. And I think that's what this is all about is having fun. And if you're not having fun, why are we doing this? There was a morning where I had to wake up super early from the house. I was tired, didn't get much sleep, had to head straight to the airport. And I looked in the mirror and I was like, let's get to work, because 15-year-old me would kick myself in the ass if you knew, like, hey, this is what we're doing in a few years. Like, this is our job. Sick. Let's roll. Yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy. The locker room's great. There's a lot of creative minds back there, and it's cool to see the flow of things. And like you said, we're putting out a good product right now. It's just getting that out to the masses. Like, how do we get more eyes on the product? And that's what I want to contribute to. Mm-hmm. That's because I've got ideas out the ass. But it's like doing my part.
Impact was on Twitch for a while. Obviously, you have a big presence on Twitch. Is there
left right when I was signing on? They were still on Twitch. I was getting ready to do like a Thursday watch along. We had built this cool set for it and everything. And right as I signed on, before I even debuted, like, oh, we're moving over to YouTube. And I am hoping, I would love for Impact to come back to Twitch and work stuff out. But I don't know. I bleed purple, so it's and I'm under contract with Twitch, so I can't stream live on any other platform for more than 5 minutes. Mm-hmm. So it's like I can't do anything on YouTube. I do watch the show, but then it's now behind a paywall, so I can't stream it to my viewers like directly. But will they come back to Twitch? I hope. That would be awesome. I could help.
Is that one of those things like backstage? You're like, oh yeah, this would be pretty cool on Twitch. Kind of like not so subtly being like, hey, come on back. Water's warm.
I've spoken my mind about that, and they see what I'm doing on the platform over yonder, and it's just I don't know. Maybe I need to sit with Scott and have a conversation.
There you go. By the time we air this, it'll be Valentine's Day. You hosted Lizards of Love. You have experience in that aspect. Any advice for anybody with, maybe some last minute tips, how to woo your significant other?
Zicky Dice is a huge fan of romance. All right. One Valentine's Day, I once hired a quartet to go into the ladies' work and sing to her. Dude, don't be afraid to do something that's out of your normal. All right. Women and everyone in general loves a little bit of romance. Okay. So find your partner, do something special for them, and let them know that you love them. And even take a trip downtown, if you know what I mean. If you got to go downtown, sometimes it comes with the job. Outlandish.
There you go. This is going to pay off for somebody.
Yeah, you're damn right. And I would just all you got to do is send me the wink, tweet me the wink. I'll back you up. I'll know exactly what we're talking about. So I'm glad your Valentine's Day worked out.
There you go. We covered quite a bit about what you're doing, where we can see you. Anything else you do have coming up that you can talk about? I'm sure
the world is going to explode here very, very soon. But if you want to follow this outlandish journey I call life, I'm live on Twitch a few times a week, twitch.tv/Zicky Dice. It's the most outlandish channel on the platform, or at Zicky Dice on every other social media platform out there. Buckle up. Things are about to get and I feel like I say this all the time, right? And I've proven everyone wrong. I've never lied to the people. I have delivered every single time I said I was going to do something. So if you want to follow along, there you go. That's your opportunity.